faces. Hey, Saul, do you have Facebook on your phone?
Yes.
Do me a favor, go to Librotraficante.com because I'm getting an echo.
Oh, it's because one of these is on.
So I want you to find. Don't.
I'm just gonna lower the volume.
Well, hold on. But I want to see which one we want out because that one is miking the room. So I want to make sure you can still hear stuff on Facebook. So you got that right now? Can you hear me say hi, Saul? Let me ask you this. Let me try that. Can you hear me say hi, Saul, or not yet? No. What do you? Can you hear things? I'm gonna say your name. You hear your name on the Facebook Live?
There's a delay.
Well, the delay's fine. Well, you do hear me?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. Is there the echo? Okay. But let me just see one thing. Now there's going to be an echo. Yes or no? So you. So. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, how are ya? I'm setting up the StreamYard here.
All right.
Wonderful to see you.
I brought some, just a snack.
Yeah.
Where shall I put it?
Where should we put the snacks?
How are you? Nice to meet you. Oh. The brains behind the brains. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Do you know Bryan? This is Lorinda.
So I know you can hear all that on the Facebook, right? But it's not. But there's not an echo, right?
There wasn't an echo, but I heard like some
Feedback.
yeah, like feedback.
Feedback. Oh, that's feedback from.
You know what? I'll probably kill this mic then.
Yeah, like an egg roll, but
Oh, there's no more feedback.
No? That sounds okay?
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see.
You know that feedback does? There's like a beeping sound.
Right. That's customers. That's good. That's a good sound. That means business is good.
People are coming in.
Exactly. Marlon and
yes, I appreciate your call. How are you? Nice to see you. Oh.
hey, great to see ya. Let me upset at the Facebook here. Give me one second. Wonderful to see you. A ver.
Yeah. Really busy with work. Yeah, how about you?
Really busy.
I need to find a partner. Or I don't have
Hey, so I'm gonna ask you, do me a favor. If you're on Librotraficante.com, do you see me? Yeah, Librotraficante. No, I'm sorry. The Facebook page for Librotraficante. It should be on right now. Testing. Nothing yet. As in, you don't see me? We don't see anything.
Oh, I see now.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Hey, everybody, welcome to the birthday party. Please have a seat. Everyone, come on in. Thank you so much. Welcome to the fiesta. This is the 10th anniversary of the Librotraficante Caravan. Oh, yes, we have some applause beginning in the back of the room. And my name is Tony Diaz, the Librotraficante. I just kind of want to give you an overview of what we're going to do. But again, this is not the Democratic Party convention or the corporate bank convention. This is a community event. So expect noise, kids, and surprises, okay? But we do have a few goals in mind. So I want to give you the overview. This is a multi-platform broadcast too. So of course, we're originally in person, so it's great to be in person finally. Right?
Yeah.
The old-fashioned way. Going viral the old-fashioned way. One Chicana and Chicano at a time, right? But we're also on 90.1 FM KPFT Houston, Texas, which is your community station where our radio show began. We're also on Fox26Houston.com and across different social media platforms. So right now, if you do have your phones out, you can go to the Librotraficante Facebook page. Give it a like. Would it kill you to like it? Would it kill you? Would it kill you? You can give it a like, give it a share, and that's one way that we'll be hitting the community this time around. Because 10 years ago when we did this, people were not as prevalent on social media, right? To give you an idea of the overview, I do want to tell you who we'll be talking to, who will be coming up, why we're doing this. I got to remind you, we're here because 10 years ago, right-wing Republicans in Arizona banned Mexican American studies. If you didn't hear about this, I want you to ask yourself, why was the erasure of our history and culture erased? And guess what? I thought we were just going to have a birthday party. Really, I thought it was going to be Jose Aranda, Dr. Comer, Bryan Parras, Sixto, a few of us having a few adult beverages, some food, reminiscing. Well, guess what? Folks are at it again. 10 years ago, there were people that were trying to intimidate teachers, community members, and students. They were boxing up books. They were banning books. They were bullying our community members. Guess what? It's happening again. So, turns out we're just in time because we're expert at this. Because 10 years ago, I know I made you sad. You're like, what happened? No, why are you reminding us of that? Well, here's the better part. 10 years ago, when Arizona officials banned our history and culture, we came together as a community. In Houston, we joined our brothers and sisters in Tucson, Arizona, because they're the heroes. They're the teachers that created the, they're the heroes. They're the scholars that created that brilliant program. They're the community members that came together and told their students about it. They're the students that for 6 years were taking those classes and changed the dropout rate. There were double-digit dropout rates, just like there are in every part of the city. Everywhere our students are, there's double-digit dropout rates. That's criminal. It was the same back then. Once they implemented culturally relevant studies, just like we know happens, they prospered. They went to a 98% graduation rate. What did Arizona officials do? They banned it. But the students stood up. They went to school board meetings. They protested. Does that sound familiar? That's happening now again too, right? And they told the world. So today we're going to introduce you to some of the co-founders of the Librotraficante movement. I want to name them. I'm going to name a bunch of folks first. Folks are going to come up, talk a little bit. We're going to keep it short though. Right around 2:50-ish, we'll wrap that up because we have a cake. Gracias to las señoras at the HEB who made nuestra torta. You know? And they're awesome because they have to keep calling me, Señor, ¿qué es un librotraficante? Digo, bueno, qué bueno que te le puedo explicar, ¿no? And they were fascinated by the cake, which is awesome. But the message is our people everywhere. So we have cake, we have some beverages. We're going to meet, again, the co-founders of the Librotraficante movement. And they ain't been resting for the 10 years. So they've been just like chilling out like, hey, you know, we're done smuggling books. No, they've been working. You're going to meet them again. Good news, too. Our family's getting bigger and bigger. You're going to meet the folks that run our multimedia platforms. Okay, now here's the best thing. Some of these folks have never met any of y'all in person because the COVID-19 shutdown. So we've got volunteers that have been working with us for 2 years that have no idea what you look like. Okay, and they've been dying to meet the rest of the familia. You'll meet them. Also, you'll meet our board members, some of our board members right now. Of course, there's Jose Aranda, Carolina Ortuzar Diaz. You're going to meet them formally in a little bit. They keep the organization going. And then the Caravanistas. 10 years ago. Woohoo! 10 years ago. These folks were here at Casa Ramirez. And they jumped on the bus. And they gave their spring break to us. And Opari también, let's be real. It was fun liberating the Southwest, okay? It was a blast. But those folks gave it their time, their energy. We don't pay folks, we pay you compliments, right? But they jumped on this bus, and we went on a 6-city tour. We started 4 underground libraries. And let's get something straight. We united with the community. It's not us. We were happy to be the ambassadors of the community because our gente son poderosos. Our community is proud and strong, and we're on the right side of history, and they united. You're going to meet some of the Caravanistas who are in this very room, but our movement is even bigger than that because now you're going to meet some of the community representatives. Of course, the tip of the pyramid is the Librotraficante movement. That's fun. It's exciting. But that's only possible because of the base of community cultural capital, which is Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say, which turns 24 this year, 25 next year. We now have a chapter in every Houston City Council district. Some of those folks are here today. Likewise, they've all been doing this on social media, so they haven't met some of the family in person. On top of it, more good news. Again, we haven't just been chilling out, although I've been reading books and writing books. Yeah. Anyway, the movement has been growing. So today, you're going to meet the extended family of Nuestra Palabra. We are the fiscal sponsors. Google that. Okay. Google what that means. That means they're familia. Okay. That means they're familia. But guess what? The BIPOC Arts Network Fund. You're going to meet the director, Sixto Wagan, who's right here. Give him an applause. They are putting into the community, to community art on community terms. They will be investing $12.5 million on community art. Y'all crowding him now, right? Y'all crowding him now. They're like, let me see. The first round just came out. $2 million was invested. We're proud to have been the umbrella group for 11 of those organizations. Some of those groups are here. We're going to have an ATM party. Okay? So you're going to meet them. We're giving their ATM card. I do want to give a shout out to a couple for different reasons. You're going to see why. This next chapter of the Librotraficante movement, we've always been plural. We're all about plurality. I didn't know we had to tell you that straightforward, but now they're not just going after our community. They're going after everybody. So we're going to be blatantly BIPOC. So in the room is the BIPOC Book Festival, who we're working with. Proud to umbrella. But in case you're confused, we want to say that out loud. Their book festival, the BIPOC Book Festival, is coming up in April. Y'all part of it. You're not invited. Y'all part of it. You're all part of it. Also, Conversando a Través Poesía is in the room. They're one of the umbrella groups as well. They'll be getting their ATM card, but they're using that money to organize the Hispanic Book Festival, which is books all in Spanish.
Yes.
Okay? And in a little bit, we're waiting to hear also from State Representative Cristina Morales. She put a bill on the table this last legislative session. House Bill 1504 came this close to passing. It made history for the first ethnic studies bill in Texas to pass the Texas House of Representatives. It will make, didn't pass this time. I don't want to get into it why. Oh, you'll find out why. It didn't make it all the way through this time. When that passes, because that's going to pass the next legislative session. That's going to pass. It will make Mexican-American history and African-American history count for high school graduation in Texas, okay? Yeah. So that's just a little bit of an overview. And then, of course, we got a bunch of poets and writers in the room. So right around, around 2:50-ish, 3-ish, we're going to start flowing, mingling, throwing down some poetry. Very, very, very bannable material. Okay, so I think you can enjoy that. And then you're also going to get a chance to mingle, because this is what this is. This is a movement, right? I mean, they want to desanimarnos. They want to make it seem like we are not united. We've been united. We know that on the ground. We got to tell you, oh, we're coming. And it's as simple as that. It's going to be a protest or a party.
Your choice.
It's your choice. It's your call. We're really good at both. Okay. So I do want to bring up the co-founders of the Librotraficante. They'll sit with us and they're going to introduce. All of you share a little program with you right there, please. So I'm going to call up the co-founders of the Librotraficante movement: Bryan Parras, Liana, Lopez, Lupe, Mendez. I'm going to come up here for Rosita.
On her way.
Lilo is on her way.
I think she's smuggling books right now.
Also, not here with us in person is Laura Razo. But here's what happened. We don't all meet in the same place at once, just in case, Tú sabes, just in case. So
we have plan A's and plan B's and plan C's, and Laura's part of the plan B.
Exactly.
Not to be confused with plan Atlan.
Right.
Exactly. The other thing I want to say is they're going to introduce some of the different segments throughout the show. I guess it's a show. We'll call it a show, but why not? And I do just want to give you a sneak preview. We ain't just been chilling out, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Texas Poet Laureate! Lupe Mendez. Oh, Liana making a dramatic entrance. It's ridiculous. It is.
I know, I was listening on the way over here.
Awesome. And they weren't just chilling out. Besides getting awards for their environmental activism,
Yes.
We're all about books and poetry. I hear a lot of people like movies. Is that true? People like movies, right?
They take too long.
They take too long. They were in a documentary that had been viewed internationally.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And also Laura Costa, national level education consultant. Again, she's not here now, but they're one of the founders. But get used to seeing all of us, because the other thing I would say, we're going to bring up Sixto to talk a little bit about the BIPOC Arts Network Fund in a second. But here's what I want you to get used to. We did something one way 10 years ago, and it worked. My theory is that book banners studied that. They studied the success of our, and again, this is not corporate English. When we say our, we mean all of you. We mean our community. Las señoras who were the bakers for our cake. I mean, we mean all of us. The success of our movement was studied by these book banners. The success of the ethnic studies movement. You know what didn't make news? California passed a bill requiring ethnic studies to graduate from high school, right? That did not make news because of this other nonsense that's going on right now, right? So we're going to be traveling across, but we're upping our game. So not just caravans. social media. So I want to remind folks right now, please do get your phones out. You know, in the old days, if someone was talking and you're on your phone, that was an insult. Now, if someone's talking and you're not on your phone, it's insulting because we ain't said anything we're posting. So, so we have a we're on multimedia platforms right now. So right now, we're on Facebook Live. So please go to Facebook. The Facebook page for Librotraficante.com. But every week, we bring you the Nuestra Palabra shows on social media, on 90.1 FM, KPFT, Houston's community station. Liana's going to introduce our multi-platform shows in a little bit, but I got to call Rodrigo Bravo. He is our audio engineer for the radio side. He makes us sound amazing. Also, Roxana Guzman is working with. She's never met any of y'all in person, so make it treat her nice when she gets here. She's trying to get her way in here.
Right. I think this will be the first time I meet Rodrigo in person.
Also, due to the COVID shutdown. But this is what we'll be doing now: is social media. And last time we just did one caravan, and then we did it again in 2017. No. We're gonna be doing caravans. Again, I told you we got chapters throughout Houston and every city council district, throughout Texas, every state of the union, all year long, and into our 25th anniversary of Nuestra Palabra next year. And here's what's gonna happen: 25th anniversary of Nuestra Palabra. We're gonna convene again in some city. Every city will be tuning in this way. You will be used to hearing every week poetas from Tucson, Denver, Houston, Albuquerque, Miami, Los Angeles, Nueva York, Chicago, every single week through these meetings. And we're going to be united from one side of the country to the other. I'm going to throw it to Lupe, then we'll throw it to Sixto. But you know why? Because now we've hacked their game. I'm going to depress you. Lupe's going to fire you all up. And Sixto's going to come and say a few words. But let me depress you. We've hacked the system. 10 years ago, they banned our history and culture. 500 years ago, we're marking the Mexica New Year today. 500 years ago, Spanish pirates came to Abya, stole the land, and the Mexicas handed over governance of the land and the people. And guess what those pirates did? They burned our books and they burned our libraries. So this is going on a recurring basis. Here's the difference. We figured that out. We're planning a movement and everybody wins. We're not here to conquer anyone. We're not here to rule anything. We're here to make sure everyone shares their voice and then everybody wins. That's what America is about. That's what the education, that's what education is. Getting the American youth education, that's what it's all about. So I depressed you. Lupe, can you please thrill him with a little bit of poetry? And then we're going to have Sixto come up. Texas Poet Laureate, por favor.
Buenas tardes. Is it tardes? Yes, it's tardes. Hoping that you're all having a great Saturday afternoon. As Tony begins with the idea that we have work to do, we can also discuss and celebrate the work that's been done. 10 years ago, prior to today, we spent many a late evening, lots of extra tacos, and a dry erase board or chalkboard, just like the one behind you. Just like that. Yeah, just like that. Where we taped, computed, saved on files. Back then we used, what did we use? Dropbox to begin and organize the original Caravan. When we figured out that was going to be the thing to do, I've always been in awe of the fact that as organizing things, we never, we take a breath. We take we're doing that now. And then it's the, okay, let's go. But it's never a, no, we don't. What? It's never a, we can't. It's, okay, let's figure it out and move it. the 10 years ago, it took all of the things that we did before, all the showcases, all the radio show, all the book festivals, all of the things that we put together to basically put together a multi-city book thing. The reality of this is, though it was a monumental / political / lucha / thing, the resistencia, at the very base level of everything that we did, it was a bunch of book nerds taking a bunch of books to a bunch of
Mad
kids.
book nerds.
Like, we were mad book nerds. Like, when we crossed the line into Arizona, we were like, yeah, wait a minute. What did we just, it's the books, and it's, let's take these books and put them in nice wrappings and give them to the kids. I say that because this is the one piece that constantly sticks with me. When we say divide and conquer to do the things we need to do, part of the work was, and we made the conscious decision as a group, it was 25 plus individuals that got on the bus and the one rented car and traveled the 6 cities that we traveled to. And the element that stuck out the most was we made the conscious decision that a group of us would go to hand books to the students who were in the mosque classes at the community center and the spaces, so that we could have conversation with them. But we also elected that because of the fact that we had close to 21,000 books on our person, like in the bottom of the bus, we had to illegally. We needed to orchestrate and organize those said books. So a small group of us stayed behind to wrap the books up in bundles and to give them to kids. And the part that sticks out for me the most was, while one event was going on, that was the community talk that was happening with students there in Tucson, the small group of us that stayed behind to wrap these books up, several students that morning came in, saw the books, grabbed whatever book that was they last read, and one of the girls grabbed her book, said, "This was the book I was reading the last time when we were in class before I got taken out of my hand." Grabs the book, sits in the corner of the Juan Venezuela Youth Center under one light, and picks up on, I believe she said, I was almost finished with the book when they took it. And she sat and she read the rest of the book. And then she came back and she put it on the stack. And we were like, no, keep it. It's yours. And she's like, no, I want to make sure that book gets to somebody else who could use it. And she walked off. We didn't get her name. We didn't get any info. What we did, though, was we gave her a bunch of the other books that were in another stack. And she was like, thanks, I'll read these ones. Thanks. And then she took off. And somebody was like, wait, no, don't leave with the books. And we were like, yeah, what do we do if they just start taking the books? And we just decided, well, to hell with it. That's what this is for. Like, that was the work. Like, we had all these massive plans, but at the core end of the day, we did the job. Like, we did what we needed to do with that level. So to say all of that is this massive thing that became this movement is also at its core just giving. Point blank. Punto final. Like, if we forget all these other things, let that be at the core what we do on the everyday and what we've done every day after that. With that said, it is my job to give you the definition of what a Librotraficante is, and to call out the individuals who have served as Librotraficante, who have given of their time and effort over the years to be a part of this movimiento. So in the audience, one of the things that we borrowed as we were doing this, it was tongue-in-cheek, because though it was banned books and this is contraband and this is illegal in the state of Arizona at the time, we thought about the fact that it's crazy, how are you banning books? So we decided that, borrowing from Capoeira, the idea that, like, you need nicknames because you're working with an illegal action, so they can't know your real name. We came up with nicknames because that's what you do. What are your nicknames? So, because it used to be a banned art form. It used to be against the law to practice an art form, and so people practiced with nicknames. And so we borrowed that element, and every single person who has been a Librotraficante has had a nickname. And so Tony is known as El Librotraficante. We say he's the lead singer in the band. But you know, there's other members of the band. So Bryan is Librotraficante High Tech Aztec. Liana is Librotraficante Lilo. In the back, if you're any of the Librotraficantes that have been on any one of our caravans, please either stand or like raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. Thank you. And so all of these individuals that are Librotraficantes are moms, are dads, are educators, set on school boards, are professors, have worked in other industries, and each of their names are unique. So as we spend today and we mix and we mingle, please be kind and ask them, how did you get on the caravan and how did you get your name? And there's one individual whose name did not appear until we were halfway through the trip. And I love this story because somehow it ended up being that I ended up, because I guess geekiness, I ended up like nicknaming almost half the crew if they didn't nickname themselves. So one of our Caravanistas, Delia, did not have a name when we got on the bus. And halfway through the trip, Tony says that we need to start posting hashtags while we're on the social medias. And she just saying, it's on camera and it's in a video. And she says, wait a minute, what's a hashtag? I know what a hash brown is. But what's a hashtag? And everybody, the same response you just gave right now, the exact same thing that you just did when that happened, when she said it and we lost it on the bus, I was like, that's it, you're Librotraficante hash brown. and that's how, but all of this was this organic celebratory thing. And so to all of the Librotraficantes that are with us today, to all the Caravanistas that were traveled with us, thank you so much for your effort and your energy and your sacrifice. And it's so good to see your faces because it has been a damn long time. For those of you that joined on the second caravan, thank you for your service and your care, because all of this movimiento keeps going. And that to say, for you who are sitting in the social medias for the next caravan,
right.
maybe it's your turn.
Woo!
That's right.
That's right.
And now it's going to be TikTok and hashtags. And Delia now has her new hashtag, Librotraficante La TikTok. So all that to say, a poem. I'm gonna pull one real quick. I'm actually gonna borrow one from Juan Felipe Herrera. He has served as National Poet Laureate previously. And so
You're texting him right now?
I'm texting him right now.
Yo, bro, write something.
This one is entitled, in the years after the caravan, we have had to organize, most especially after a certain individual was elected. We gave voice and resistance to that election. And so I started off that particular event with this poem, Let Us Gather in a Flourishing Way, by Juan Felipe Herrera. Let us gather in a flourishing way when sunless grains abriendo los cantos que cargamos cada día en el young pasto nuestro cuerpo para regalar y dar luz, perlas, pearls of corn, flowering árboles de vida de los cuatro esquinas. Let us gather in a flourishing way, contentos, llenos de fuerza, tu vida, giving nacimientos to fragrant ríos dulces, frescos, verdes, turquoise, strong carne de nuestros hijos, rainbows. Let us gather in a flourishing way. en la luz y en la carne of our hearts to toil tranquilos in fields of blossoms juntos, to stretch los brazos tranquilos with the rain en la mañana temprana, estrella on our forehead, cielo de calor and wisdom to meet us where we toil in the garden of our struggle and joy. Let us offer our hearts a salud, our águila rising freedom, a celebrar woven brazos, branches, ramas, piedras, nopales, plumajes, plumas, piercing, bursting figs and aguacates, ripe mariposa fields and mares claros of our face, to breathe todos en el camino, blessing seeds, to give, to grow, maiztlán en las manos de nuestro amor. I am going to turn this part over to Sixto.
Great. Right after that, thanks.
To do all the magical things, to have popped off all the things that have just occurred. Thank you for all the work with the BIPOC Artist Network Fund. And so all the work you do directly impacts all the work we get to do. So thank you so much.
Librotraficante Sixto Sol!
So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here, to be part of the celebration. Thanks for reminding us why we are here. It is through the art, it is through the community, and that we have survived. And it is particularly in this moment that we can be here after 2 years of compounded crises, of not being able to be with our community, to be sharing food, to be celebrating, to singing a song, to actually be in grief together as we do. We have been taken, all the things have been taken away for us, except for our words, except for our stories, and except for the connections that we have. And so thank you for allowing me to be part of this. And I am grateful and with much gratitude to be able to be leading the BIPOC Arts Network and Fund in this moment. And acknowledging the fact that the BIPOC Arts Network and Fund, like many of this, only is coming because of crisis. We come together in crisis because we are resilient, because we know how to do it. But it is in these moments in which people are asking us to step up, and we have stepped up. This is the first time in my life where I've seen foundations actually step up and recognize the fact that our brown, Black, Latino, immigrant communities, we deserve to be recognized at the same levels.
That's right.
I need to name the fact that Ford Foundation, Houston Endowment, Kinder Foundation, Powell Foundation, Brown Foundation, and Cullen Trust have actually stepped up into this space and given the money to us to then understand how best to steward it for our communities. It is not a Houston Endowment endeavor. It is an endeavor that is actually about us, that is led by our community. And it is I am really grateful and humbled to be part of this community, but also to have that moment in order to be here, listen to the stories, celebrate how this moment is actually connected to the generations before us, recognizing the work that has gotten us here and the work that it will continue to get us. Hopefully this money, this $12.4 million is just the start of it. $12.4 million is a lot of money. It will not fix generations of wrong. What will fix generations of wrong are the people in this room, the connections and the relationships.
Yep.
They will never be able to take that away from us.
Right.
So this money is good. This money is important. It is significant. But this money only is about here how we can actually help each other, learn from each other, learn with each other, and actually be there for each other when we're called to. So I have much gratitude to continue to be learning from this and be part of the generations and to actually be in this moment and recognize that we are celebrating your power. We are celebrating the fact that you have been here, will be here, and with this help, maybe we don't have to do it for free. Maybe we can actually recognize that our labor, our work, our words are worth more than just this moment and something that and a party. It's worth something that everybody needs to be able to pay attention to, and that we can that we can actually recognize that with each other, and hopefully we can continue to build. Over the next 5 years, we'll continue to find spaces in order for us to listen and learn, to find ways in order for the BIPOC Arts Network and Fund in order to be able to support our community into their power, recognizing the ways in which you all celebrate your success, that we all celebrate our success, the way that we need to understand how to do our work better, and the way that we can actually speak it out to the foundations, to the policymakers, to other people outside of their communities, and not just the brown and Black communities, but to our ongoing patrons and to our larger institutions who are a part of this community that continue to benefit from our work. We are here, we are loud, we are exciting, and we will continue to be here. And it is really a moment for me to actually, like, we're celebrating in person, y'all. So thank you. Happy anniversary to Librotraficante. Happy future anniversary to Nuestra, Palabra, and to all of the people. Like, it is not just about these 10-year celebrations. It's about the work that we are celebrating each and every moment. It does not have to last 10 years. It does not have to last 25 years. We are significant in these moments. How do we continue to build on it? So thank you all very much.
That's fantastic. That's the kind of vision we expect from Houston, Tejas. You know, it's all about BIPOC. It's all about arts. Yes, Mala. Oh, yes. Well, I want to brag. So, it's un party too. It's un party. So, Julie brought us some food. So I'm going to pass this to the back, of course, por favorcito. And there'll be more food to come. I do want to thank other folks. You mentioned we're about to have Liana come up here and talk about the book fair, our social media platforms, and she was also one of the progenitors of the radio show involved with the book fair. But I do want to recognize some of our legacy, and then Bryan's going to introduce our board members. But I do want to acknowledge we are at Casa Ramirez, and you know, send a big love you to Chrissy Ramirez. She reminded us we had a birthday coming up. So, yeah, it was like a big one too. We're like, oh my gosh, you're right. She made a donation. She's donated food. She's donated space. Not today, not last year, not 5 years ago, 10 years ago, beyond that. So that's super important. She's keeping this legacy going. Also, we're in the memory of Macario Ramirez, a mentor of mine and many of us who's no longer with us. Or is he? He's still. Aquí está.
Presente.
Presente. Macario, presente. And then in a little bit, too, Bryan's going to introduce our board members, but also the memorium, one of the Librotraficante Caravanistas who's no longer with us. And then, hey, when the phone runs out, when we're off social media, too, we're going to still be hanging around eating, having more poems, more poetry, etc. But Liana, if you become kind enough to come up and talk about our social media platforms and the book fair.
Okay.
Oh, great. And then we're going to have State Rep come up. Yes.
Go, girl, go.
It was awesome, and our radio show.
Okay.
And the multi-platform's awesome.
Yeah.
The 2-minute version, the 5-minute
Tell
I
them
version.
how
know, it was
awesome
in the
you are.
2-minute version. I know I got a little late. I wasn't expecting. Wasn't expecting all the folks that were here to be here. And I'm late all the time anyway. It's just I got a 15-minute window. But most people, if you want me on time, I got to be like give you a 15-minute window, and I'll be there on time. No. So yeah, but that's not true with our social media platforms. Our social media platforms, as you can see, are right on time. We have people on the back wings doing the work, the producing work, and we have 2 radio shows now on 90.1 FM. KPFT. You can catch them on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say, and Latino politics and news, which is different. I like the way politics, is it news and politics or politics? Politics and news. So those are our 2 radio shows that we have on the FM band 90.1. We also have them where you can actually see us. That we have a camera in the radio room, sort of, in Jody's office there. And so you can also see us on 26 Fox, and what is it? The website Fox 26 News?
Fox26houston.com.
Okay, Fox26houston.com. And then, of course, we have our Twitter handles. You can find us on Instagram, and we will be coming at you live. There are a lot of different kinds of media feeds, and you can find us on all of those. You can also just hashtag or look for Librotraficante, which will get you to those places as well. And I think, am I forgetting to mention anything? Except for the band. So about the book fair, the book, which, okay, so our caravan turned into this huge thing. Started out as literally Bryan finding a tweet that said that the books were being taken out of classrooms. And Bryan said, well, we're going to come and bring you the books. Because the thing that's not mentioned about the caravan is we had been doing these book fairs here in Houston at the George R. Brown Convention Center going on 7 years, 5 years at the time, I think. And we've had people, the biggest book fair that we had was 35,000 people coming to the George R. Brown Convention Center. For 2 weekends on just Latino books. Now we're talking about translations. We're not talking about just things translated into Spanish. We're talking about authentic writing from Latino writers that maybe don't speak Spanish, you know? So one of the things that was amazing was the fact that we were able to have direct connections to these folks, because they end up being our friends. We see them every year. They come in, they write books. We, get to know them. We interview them on our shows, and then we bring them in person to our book fairs. And so we built relationships with these people. So we didn't start out the caravan saying, oh, we're going to go save these people. We're just like, oh, they're going to take those books. We know those writers. Let's just get some copies. We'll take them over there, and then they'll have their books, and they won't matter whether or not they're in their school system. They'll be somewhere where they can actually get them. And so that's how it started. And then it built into this 55 plus bus caravan with all of these books and all of this support. And it really encouraged us to know that we were fighting for the right thing. And at that time, it was just Latino. I mean, of course, we care about all of our histories, but our voice happens to be that Latino voice or Hispanic voice or whatever, colonialized word you want to use to call yourself. But that's our voice. And so we wanted to make sure that our voices are heard. And really, my work here with the Librotraficante, with Nuestra Palabra, is really, that's what it's all about. And so one of the things that I really love that sticks with me through the caravan is talking to one of the folks that were Nicholas, who was one of the folks that was who was actually suing one of the folks that were on this lawsuit for Tucson Unified School District to get the MOS program to stay. And at the end, he was like, telling me, I was telling him, some of the troubles we were having. He was, oh, well, it doesn't matter. You're getting paid to do this anyway. And I'm like, we're getting paid. We're getting paid for this. Okay. And it was really touching because folks that are in trouble, a lot of times that are people that are coming to help them, they're looking for something to help them on their end because they want to help you to help themselves. And our caravan was just authentic and different. And I try not to cry every time I talk about it, which is why I don't talk about it a lot because they don't whatever. But yeah, so it's stayed with us for so long and it's meant so much to so many people. And it's not something that we're paid for or that we're, looking to gain some kind of fame from. We need these voices. It's part of our culture. It's part of our history, and you're not going to erase it because we're going to be here. We're going to continue to be here, and we're going to continue to keep writing and speaking out. And as long as I'm here, I'm going to help get those words out.
How can we lose? Impossible. And I love that you wear your heart on your sleeve because you're so strong. But it is trauma. It's trauma. There's people trying to humiliate us. They're using psychological warfare against us. And they're erasing our history. That is traumatizing. I'm so glad that we can come together in love, art, culture, and shatter all that. Right? I do want to pause. We're going to introduce our board members. I do want State Representative Christine Morales to come up here. I was supposed to keep a secret. Everybody's dying to know. Everybody wants to get on a bus. When's the next bus? When's the next bus? When's the next bus? Anybody in this room want to get on a bus?
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness! Oh my, again?
We'll go again.
Again?
Yeah.
Austin, Tejas, in April, to mark the 21st birthday of Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say, we will be coming to visit Dan Patrick.
Let's do it. All right.
By the way, Dan, we're not applauding you. Dan Patrick recently said that he wants to go after professors that teach critical race theory. Now, it's one thing,
Go Dan.
right?
Go Dan.
He's been bullying K through 12 students, administrators, parents, teachers, librarians, all of whom we love. However, critical race theory is a graduate level course. I wish graduate level courses were being snuck into kindergarten to 8th grade. Okay, it is not happening. But guess what? At the university level, at the graduate school level, and the college level, they do teach critical race theory. It's a book. Dr. Delgado and Dr. Stefanik wrote the book. They've written about the Librotraficante. I can show you the book. It doesn't say that we don't like white folks. I love white folks. It doesn't say that we say all white folks are oppressors. It doesn't say that all Chicanas and Chicanos are oppressed. And in fact, if I heard a teacher saying that, I'd say, mijo, no. Yeah. Like, oh my goodness, where did you see that? Oh, Dan Patrick told you that? No, don't teach that. That's not how you teach. And if someone did teach that way, there are teachers, educators, specialists that will teach them that that's not the way to do it. So I've never seen anyone teach that way. That's not what's in these books. There's a book called Critical Race Theory. And here's the other news. The teachers at the college level who do teach critical race theory teach in the law department, history department, sociology, Mexican American history, and African American history. They're the professors that teach Mexican American history and African American history. So we will be going to Austin to get Dan Patrick to clarify if he believes Mexican American history and African American history are CRT. He's just got to answer that question. And he has to answer that question. And if it's the right or wrong question, then we deal with it after that. But in April, we got a caravan going to Austin. We're opening an underground library in Austin, Tejas. We're opening a chapter of Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say. And Austin's going to get sick of all the BIPOC writers flowing through and on the air after that, okay? And one of our dear friends, this is by way to introduce now, the cultural capital we have in the room. Not only do we have professors, we got 2 tenured professors from Rice University in the room, Dr. Coleman and Dr. Aranda. At Sixto, who is involved with some of the leading philanthropic organizations in the nation. Texas State Representative Cristina Morales is Chicana legacy.
Yes.
Her family. If you don't believe me, just go to the TBH Guadalupe Plaza. You can see where her family's contributions are marked. You can go to the wall that has Latina icons at the Yolanda Navarro Flores School. See the picture of her familia on that wall. Last legislative session, she proposed a bill, House Bill 1504, that will make, because it's going to pass next time, that will make Mexican American history and African American history, and I know you want to get Asian American history también, and indigenous studies as well. We're working on developing those school networks and disciplines to count for high school graduation.
Yeah.
Please welcome a leader who's of the people, for the people, and remembers the people. State Representative Cristina Morales.
Wow, you know how to pack the house. This is so amazing. I'm so inspired to be here because I did take Tony's challenge and work on HB 1504 to pass a bill to make sure that our students have access to ethnic studies, Mexican American studies, African American studies, and like you said, soon to be Asian American studies and indigenous studies. And listen, it was so crazy that the CRT bill, the critical race theory bill, was right after we were trying to pass our ethnic studies bill. But I have to give Tony so much credit because it was a conversation that we had that inspired me to work on this piece of legislation. So I can't take credit for it. This was you and meeting with all of your folks, Mexican American Studies. We were on many Zoom calls and we made so much progress in a short amount of time with a very new legislator. So I was very proud. And this is going to be my focus going into the next legislative session. But I have to tell you the reality, and this isn't something that's fun to hear. The reality is there is attacks on our history, on us as people. There are attacks on our democracy. They are actively making sure that we don't get out and vote. So I want you to think about this. Dan Huberty, you know Dan Huberty, State Representative Dan Huberty, a Republican who was just a champion for education and passed the big HB3, all the funding that we got over the last few years for education. He has retired. Why has he retired? Because the Trumpian people are taking the seats of the moderate Republicans. So we lost Dan Huberty. Larry Taylor, who was the education chair in the Senate, where I went and I tried to make sure that the Senate would pass the bill, retired. And literally speaking to him, he said, I'm retiring because Mays Middleton, a Trump endorsed Republican, using his own millions of dollars to run for office, he said, I can't compete with that. So again, we're losing all of that experience and, just a long-serving senator who worked on education, gone. So the challenge is going to be that much harder this next legislative session. That's the honest truth. So it's up to us to not only talk about our history and promote ethnic studies, but it's also getting our young people out to vote. We have to go into the schools and we have to talk to young people. Thank goodness yesterday I spoke to 3 classrooms at the High School for Law and Justice and tried to inspire these young folks and tell them, look, I want to make sure you can learn about your own history because guess what? My history as a Latina, that is not an elective to me. This should be part of what you can use as a credit to graduate. And they were like, yeah, okay. We need to make our young people understand because guess what? They are the ones who can make the biggest difference for us. Redistricting has caused our seats to be impossible to flip, but Republican seats impossible to flip at this point in the Texas House and in the Texas Senate. But there are real opportunities right now to flip any statewide seat, including governor. We have to go out and we have to help Bethel win. We have to. Please get involved in everybody's campaign who is running at the statewide level. Please, I implore you to do that if you want to see real change, because the redistricting will not allow us to flip any seats for at least 10 years. I'm in a very safe Democratic seat now. So gerrymandering works both ways. Democrats get more Democrats, Republicans get more Republicans. That's the way it's designed. Okay. But guess what? I lost a huge chunk of my Latino population. If I was not a Latina, would I care about the Latino issues? Maybe not. Maybe not. So I'm at risk too of being replaced by somebody who's not a Latino in a Latino serving seat. This seat was designed to be represented by a Latina. So basically, I wanted to tell you that. I also wanted you to know that I have a free concert coming up. It'll be, this is all part of my new district. So yay, we're here in my new district.
Oh,
Yes. I actually have more of the Heights, and I've got near North Side, Lindale, so Airline at the Houston Farmers Market. I'm hosting for my birthday a free concert with my friends from the Fab Five. There's a Beatles band. So they'll be playing at the Farmers Market. I hope to see you all there. We'll be spreading the message. We're hoping that people will be visiting the market and then kind of listen in on what we're talking about in between songs. But I thought that's a great hook to bring people. It is a fundraiser too, and we'll have raffle and silent auction things. But the other thing that I'm doing, and I really would love for you to get involved and to have a presence there, is I'm hosting a college and career day in District 145. And let me tell you, I'm doing this because I want to make sure kids register to vote. Our young Latinos have a real opportunity to change things. And if we can get more of them to come out in a big county, in a big city like Houston, Harris County, we can impact things at the state level. And I cannot do my job when I'm in the minority and more Trump type people are in office. That is the reality, y'all. So please, I beg you to please get involved in statewide races. Please come to my event, which will be on April the 8th. And then on April 30th, we're going to have College and Career Day. It'll be a great way to really talk to young folks and tell them about ethnic studies and why it's important for them to care about learning about their own history. And we're actually, just yesterday, I think we're going to raffle off a car that day. So one of those kids will walk away with a brand new car, right? And that's a way to get them to show up. And we had a donor say, okay, I'm going to work on getting you a car. So I need y'all to be there, to have a presence, and come out and help our ethnic studies bill pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so awesome. Like, this is actually my state rep, y'all.
All right.
It's rare to have someone represent you that is such a strong advocate and homegrown in the barrio. Segundo Barrio, Magnolia, hardcore East Ender. And I know that she's helped in other ways too during the pandemic. My mother and I, who's here, and also Librotraficante, that joined us on the Caravan, just last year, helped coordinate a pilot project to get our gente vaccinated, right? Because last year, if you remember, they were just coming out and there were huge disparities. We were not getting vaccinated because we didn't have access. No one was reaching out to us. So we did that in the midst of Winter Storm Uri. And that pilot led to other relationships with community leaders and nonprofit organizations to get people access to Memorial Hermann and other places. So I'm very, very happy and honored. I also know that my representative, the federal level has changed. Sylvia is no longer my rep.
No way.
Yeah, Sylvia is no longer my rep. So these things are important. They have always redrawn the lines, right? They always draw the lines. They always change the rules. And it's always based on fear of having to be accountable to us, of having to recognize us, of having to value us. All of these threads are connected. The funding for the arts gives us a louder microphone, allows us to be ourselves, to celebrate ourselves. And representation at the state level, at the federal level, gives us political power to institutionalize that, right? So these are all connected. And of all the events and things that I've done, and I'm an organizer at heart, it's cultural events that have brought the most people together. Politicians and even corporations are always struggling to get people together. And the largest events that I have seen with our people together talking about real issues and celebrating each other have been the book fairs. By far, like no other event that I've been to has been as incredibly moving to see young kids and grandparents and students all working together. And you know, we worked with Fur High School at the time, and we had, you know, over 100 volunteers to help us put these events together. You know, Liana said that Nicolas thought we were getting paid for this work. You know, we have not gotten paid, but that's why what Sixto is doing, you know, is so important, because our work does have value, and our labor, you know, needs to be recognized as that. So with that, I also want to recognize, you know, that Nuestra Palabra, Latino writers having their say, is the organization that has, you know, allowed all of this activity to flourish. And I came back from Austin in 1999, and it was my mom who said, you need to go check out this new group.
Good job, Mom.
I was like, all right, I don't got much to do. There was not a whole lot going on when I left Houston that celebrated us in this way. And so I went to one of the readings at TBH, Talento Bilingüe de Houston, and Tony got up and he asked for volunteers. Said they needed help at the radio station, that they had a radio show, and you know, anyone could come. And that's basically how I got started. I was really interested in media, and you know, the rest is history.
That's right.
But yeah, opportunities for folks to volunteer and celebrate and learn, right? The skills that we learned by working on the radio show, by organizing events, by, you know, being producers and reaching out to writers and other groups, to distributing flyers, designing flyers, printing flyers,
Mailing them.
We had to mail these things back in the day. You know, this is before the internet really blew up. We had to struggle to get Tony to tweet and get online.
Stick to the script.
He was not allowed. So the intergenerational work is so important because in both ways, always. Yeah, it's bidirectional, it's circular, and that's our gente, right? That's how we learn, and it's how we pass things on, and it's how we stay relevant too, you know, as we get older. So with that, I just want to recognize the board members who are here with Nuestra Palabra, who have been very, very silent and just like watching all of this happen for so long. You know, they are very, very supportive and humble, and, you know, just incredibly, you know, righteous for being here today. And of course, I'll recognize Carolina Diaz, who's the backbone and has supported Tony in this effort, you know, for all these years too, who's also a board member. And I'm going to hand it to you to introduce the other two members. But come up real quick and just say hi. She just wants to continue to stay
Silent.
The boards are the boss. So she's like, you go do it.
But yeah, please, because you can say more about the board members. And I just want to recognize them though and say thank you, because by you supporting Nuestra Palabra, we have been able to have a place to call home, to organize, to learn, to celebrate, and to grow, right? To build a real movement in the city of Houston that didn't exist before. Yeah. Gracias.
Thank you, High Tech Aztec. Thank you, Librotraficante, High Tech Aztec. Dr. Jose Aranda, if you want to come up. Dr. Jose Aranda, tenured professor at Rice University, Chicano from our barrio, who went to Brown University, where there are not a lot of brown people. Did you know that? you know. And also, Dr. Como has been a strong part of our movement. David Medina, also from Rush University, who's not here. Mike Delgado, Virginia Delgado, both of whom are not here right now. We want to thank them for the service. Dr. Aranda, if you say a few words, por favor. Sure. Thank you. We don't pay them either. So.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tony, Carolina, and Librotraficante, Bryan, Liana, Sixto, who I've known a long time as well. This is a 25-year plus relationship we've had, Tony. I in my office, just so you know, Tony reached out to me many years ago. So before I think Love God was a book, it was a manuscript, and I had one of the earliest drafts of that, and I pointed out to students who are interested in writing, creative writing. It's like, what does it take? What does it, who can you point to? I said, oh, really? Well, here's this, this young man presented this to me so many years ago, and this is who he is today. So you have to begin early and just keep going. And I think that's exactly what Nuestra Palabra has been doing with Tony's leadership and the leadership of all this room here, is to start early, dig in deep, and just keep going. And as someone who has been fortunate to be on the board with others like David Medina, we've been so proud and humbled. We're the ones who are humbled. Yes, you said it right. We're humbled by the fact that you put yourself on the line, that you put yourself on social media, that you take the bumps and bruises along the way, both physical but also psychic, and because it is traumatic to see all this hatred and hostility to all our young people. It's frightening. I thought it was frightening when I was growing up here in Houston and Magnolia, but it is frightening in its own different way today. And I think it's really despairing to see how, if it's frightening for the kids, it's really frightening for the parents and the grandparents. Get almost a set, right? And so one shining light has been Nuestra Palabra, has been Librotraficante, has been your work, right? That has been a shining light. And whenever Krista and I are saying, God, what can we do? What can, what's being done? We say, we just turn to ourselves and we think of Tony and Carolina and say, we got to go have dinner with them again, see what's going on. Because, we get inspired. I get inspired by all your work. And I'm inspired right now to dig in deeper, to bring my coraje up, because you work for an organization like Rice University, and they're all like, no coraje. They don't want you. They tap you down, man. They tap it down. They want everything to work in a little, a nice little way. So coraje is good. You have to remember how to channel that coraje so it's constructive and it's helpful to other people. It's not just about your own time and under the sun, so you can be an angry person. But anyway, there's good coraje. And so I've been thinking, okay, I got to get this group here. I got to get this group connected there. So I'll talk to you, Johnny, about
all right
strategies. And so anyway, thank you so much. For a kid who grew up in Magnolia back in the 60s and 70s, you guys are the dream of everybody in that generation. Everybody in that generation who dreamt about you, right? And I think it's become real. It's been real every day. But I know from the older people at the time, this is what they wanted. And thank you for giving it.
Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you all so much on the board. Thank you for those beautiful words. And we want to put our intelligence to writing books and teaching others. Why y'all gotta ban us? You gotta ban us and do that. I am gonna mention our a little bit our chapters. We have a city council reps from every district. I want to mention them in a bit, but right now I want to give out some of the ATM cards because now I think this might die out in a little bit. So actually, if Roxana is here and wants to turn her phone on, Roxana and Rodrigo, hey Roxana, what's going on? I told you there were more of us. Didn't I tell you it wasn't just me on Zoom? So we've never met in person. Isn't that nuts? She's part of our movement. So actually, if you'd be kind of before the camera runs out, because mine's dying, we're about to give out some of the ATM cards. I'm gonna tell you why. For our gente and writers, it's bad to talk about money. Oh, don't talk about money. No, talk about money. You know, the light company,
Talk about money.
they talk about money. HEB and the cake.
Gotta be paid.
Quieren lana. You know, we got to get photocopies made. They're down with the cause, but guess what? Quieren la lana. At the end of the day, that's why I think it's wonderful that Sixto is executive director for this organization that's coming up with a way to give money to our community on our terms. And these are some of the groups. So it is kind of gauche. But I said, no, this is symbolic in that our groups do great work. They deserve money. Some of them have never gotten a grant before. This funding is going to help them thrive. And guess what? We're going to come up with ways to tell these philanthropic organizations, here's our community roles. Here are other ways to reach out to us. Here's what our community is about. So I want to name some of these groups, want to have them come up. And we're going now into the fun session. So, you know, if someone wants to dar su testamento, I lo va a dar. We got some poet. Mr. Dr. Carmona is in the play. What's up, brother? He's going to be flowing in a little bit. He's going to be flowing in a little bit, ¿verdad? You know, Javier, you brought a poem, right? You brought some bannable poetry. It's very bannable. You know, he brought some very bannable work. So we're going to mingle, eat, varios testamentos. But I do want to mark this moment because these are great groups that we'd love to work with. And I'm going to go first with the groups that I see in front of me. So if I don't see, I can't give you your card. How about this? I know, now they did not apply for a BIPOC grant for the BAMP fund yet. I do want to give a shout out, but we are the fiscal sponsor because we learned about it through BAMP for the BIPOC Book Festival. So Brittany, if you're trying to come out, please. And do me a favor, if you want to stay up here too, I want them to get a good look at you because y'all gonna be working with the group.
Okay.
You are all automatically in there. You know, here's the other thing. Sometimes when I'm out there talking about Mexican American studies, I'm not just down for Chicanos. That's just who got banned. You know what I'm saying? They banned us, okay? So, and specifically, it's not, they said, you know, we're banning the Latinos. No. They went after Mexican American studies. I see. So if they could bring the name up, that's why I brought it up. But we're down with all our brothers and sisters. I'm saying that right now because I want Maria Duran to come up. Central American Collective. Central Americanos in the house. Thank you so much. And we're being helping our Salvadoran, Guatemalan brothers and sisters with the great project that she does. So we'll talk more about that in a little
you have any other ones you want us to roll? And Jennifer, no? Okay, let's see. And Manteca, I saw Tina earlier. Tina Hernandez was one of the first ones here. Tina! Well, let me give a shout out. Tina, for Manteca HCX. Manteca. And I think I saw Dr. Medill, no? Dr. Medill? Dr. Medill. I took too long, man. Pero aplausos para Museo Guadalupe Aztlán. I'm going to mention a few of the other groups who are not here. Like I say, we try not to meet up all at once in case the book banners try and trap us all at once. Houston artists. That's right. Houston artists. Monica Villarreal with Danza Azteca Teoxtlico. They're not here because it's Mexican New Year. Houston artists, come on up, por favor. I'm sorry. Here you go. Thank you. Thank you. And then it is Mexica New Year. So right now there's celebrations with Mexica New Year, and they're doing that right now. So they are, and then of course Nuestra Palabra, Latino Writers Heaven this day, is very proud to be one of the recipients as well. So it means a lot. And of course our job is to make sure the community gets it all back. So we got to thank you again. Bring them up, bring them up, bring them up, bring them up. Raise your hand if this is the first grant the organization's ever got. Pablo, Pablo, do me a favor, because my wife thinks I'm not down with the South America. This is the first grant your group has gotten. How tough was it, and who was paying? Who was paying for all those concerts, all those copies, all the websites you paid for? Who paid for that before this?
Well, I'm from Surfest. I've been doing it for 9 years. I mean, we grew from like 2, 3 bands to 10 artists that we had for the pandemic hits. So, well, yes, the first time, and you know, we go to the HEB, we need to pay, and we need to, I mean, do everything we can to reach more people.
And I'm going to say a few words. A couple things too. So one, I didn't know we had to. I didn't know we had to say this because people don't know that we're plural before it was the word. So we're down with our queer brothers and sisters. We're down with the Central Americans. We're BIPOC. So the last person to speak today will be a woman because we're down for gender equality. You know, and it's English and Spanish. In every single Spanglish, we're down with Spanglish. We're down with vegans. Vegans.
Rompo el hielo y quiero hablar en español, aunque hablo perfecto inglés. Es hora que si estamos los latinos aquí reunidos, hablemos en español. Conozco a Tony, a Bryan, a Lupe y a mi querida niña Liana y a Carolina desde que noviaba con Tony. Ha llovido, fue en el 2004 cuando los conocí. Y logramos hacer muchas, pero muchas cosas juntas. El primer festival de libros de George Brown, ahí estuve yo dándoles una mano, un orgullo verdadero. Después nosotros formamos el netamente español, el Hispanic Book Festival of Houston. Y lo hacíamos en el Hilton y compartíamos mesas Recuerdo la última mesa que compartimos y lo que me hizo pasar. Pero bueno, luego murió Puello y 3 años después nos cerraron el número. Tengo a Conversing Through Poetry por 15 años. Desde que llegué a Houston, y es primera vez que recibo un grano. Primero a Dios, después a Tony. Muchas gracias, porque la amistad vale sobre todas las cosas. Es como una familia. Y qué bueno de ver tu carita, Claudia. En YouTube. Bueno, bendiciones.
I'll do this. And then we still got two more reps to give. 2 reps. Well, then do the reps. So, so again, I mentioned Nuestra Palabra has a chapter in every city council district. We have at least 2 other representatives. I haven't seen June in a while, so I don't know if she's here. Liana and Mario, if you can come up. Mario is from City Council. Nuestra Palabra City Council. I'm sorry, you have the mask on. COVID, beat your COVID. City Council G. We rehearsed this. Like, I'm gonna pretend I don't recognize you, and then you come up, symbolic of demanding your voice. Awesome. But we have reps in every city council district, which will be activated. So this is the new family. This is the new movement, and it's gonna keep going in every state. We're gonna give a woman has to left, so we'll give you the last one, you the last one. But then Lupe wants to say something. Right? Never mind. And then we'll have some poets. So,
Very quickly.
Close us up. But no, not quickly. You are about to give the coda for the 10th anniversary celebration. And the moment before the next chapter. That's what you're about to do.
I'm Maria Luisa Ornelas June. I was born in Laredo, Texas, but Houston is my home. And lo que les deseo a Nuestra Palabra y a los Librotraficantes, especially as they're celebrating and protesting, is the rallying cry of South Texas. Pura picha party!
We're gonna have some cake and food and some poetry. Actually, we have one more important, but I want to say
pinche party.
That's right. Teresa's with the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. You may be on your day off, but shout out to you. You know what? Yeah. So this ain't corporate. So let's just put everyone on the spot. Let's just put down this way. Danny's a former student. Everyone's got to get up and say something dope. Get up.
All right, just something dope. I am actually a librarian here. Wow. So I have been in education for almost 30 years, and in my 30 years, I've opened up a school, led schools, and I'm a librarian supporting students in finding their own voice while they find other people's books. One of the things that I did as a teacher and as a principal and as a preparation of other teachers, because I also do workshops for teachers, is constantly challenge themselves when you're being told to prepare kids for the future, right? One of the things that we always talk about is making sure that they build their voice, but at the same time, we tell them to be quiet and listen, right? So it's always having that balance of making sure that we are promoting that speech, that we're promoting that ability to communicate and get up in front of people. So along the way, I created a program that I've always been promoting as a teacher and as a preparer of young teachers. That program that I call Discover My Voice, Discover My Story. And this starts as you start to read to the child, of course, and then you ask them to tell you a story, because kids are natural storytellers, right? I don't know what happens when they get into school that they're told to be quiet, don't tell stories. So one of the things that we want to make sure is, as a librarian, as a preparer of other teachers, that we constantly teach our kids to continue to tell stories, to continue to use your videos now, your phones now. You can record it, you can share it. And one of the things that I do as a mom too, because I'm a mom of 2 little traficantes as well. I've been reading banned books to them, and I didn't even know they were banned. So I've been also, as a school librarian, teaching kids about history. And it's not from a CRT point of view, it's about a history point of view. Maybe I probably will be dragged out of my library soon, but I don't care, because I will go down kicking and screaming, making sure that kids know what their history is, who they are, before they continue moving forward to what they want to go to. And I will call you guys, because I know lawyers now that can take me out of jail. And I know people that can show up to protest as well as to do the puro pinche party. So again, if you have any questions about how to guide and support a child into their storytelling ability and to preserve it in writing, please come to me. I do have a program called Discover My Voice, Discover My Story, that I continue to promote among educators as well as school leaders and here and for parents. I also do parent workshops. So gracias. And Tony, as I'm La Super Comadre Claudia on RadioCrystalUSA.com, I have an online TV show as well. I've learned so much from you. You are actually my real compadre, because we baptize each other's kids. La comadre, like real comadres. And we're part of family. And I just want to thank you for coming to Houston so many years ago and picking up the baton, because there's so many of us that have been working, but you came in and you really took the baton in a place that it needed to go. And I've been watching you and I've been following you, and you have a lot of fans within my family and friend group. Whatever you need, of course, I've always been there. Whatever you continue to need, we will always be there. So gracias por hacer todo lo que has hecho. And I'm excited to continue seeing this growth. And adelante, vamos a seguir luchando todos juntos.
I'm Andrea Clay. I am a journalist at the Houston Chronicle, but I'm also co-founder with Brittany of BIPOC Fest. Fest that first of its kind to get BIPOC under one umbrella and to amplify writers, creatives of color, and to also, especially for our children, have representation through reading so that they can share like them, so that they can read about them.
Called PR that amplifies our stories about people of color community, marginalized.
Rodrigo. Me? My name is Rodrigo. I work with Tony.
That's how it starts.
So I'll tell you my origin very quickly. So one day I was driving around and I really felt the need to do something. So I was turned on to 90.1. I went to then I went to other stations, this and that. And then I had already heard of a show, but then he's made the call. He says, I need volunteers. I need somebody, this and that. So I call into the station. It was Letty that answered the phone. Yeah, it's right there. Letty answered the phone. Oh, you're right there. So she answered the phone, and I said, hey, I want to help out. So, and she brought me in, and immediately the second day I was there, I was already running the boards, helping. And it's been an amazing experience because at the end of the day, I didn't realize how important our voice, our collective voice is needed. And to hear somebody that speaks from my experience, from my background, was really amazing, and having all those folks. So I've been doing all the radio production in the background. I work with Roxana, doing the work now. And it's so funny, when I first started, it was actually right before the pandemic. It had just started the pandemic. And the last show that we did in this radio booth, Tony put me into the damn booth. I was not prepared at all. He was, hey, come in. You can speak while you're in the booth. I'm like, what? And so there I am. And then the next week, everything got shut down. And so we've been working. We've been doing our best to, continue spreading the message and uplifting voices from marginalized communities, and from everything from internal stuff that happens at KPFT, to external stuff that happens like there in Texas and so forth. You know, Tony and the crew, they will not stop in making sure that our voices are represented. And so we need to back them up. We need to make sure that we give them all the apoyo, all the support that they deserve. Because at the end of the day, if we don't do that, our voices will be continued to marginalize, and they will be placed down on the bottom. Like Lupe was saying, like what Bryan was saying, you know, if we don't take the time and effort to do that, they'll continue doing that through redistricting, through gerrymandering and all that stuff. So I'm really happy and proud to just be part of the movement and any small part of it. All right, thank you.
Pass it on to someone. You.
My name is Tejas. As Tony mentioned, I do work for the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs, and purview is often visual art. But I think what's really special about this group and what I'm seeing here is that this is a multi group. We are already operating in ways like other people's work. Pablo has makers and filmmakers in his case. I think that's what we need to do more of. And so I'm more than welcome, more than happy to step outside of the visual art world. There are ways in which we can operate parallel from time. And I so appreciate this view right here, this movement. We're all coming together, mutual faith around. That's what my great hope is, that we are in the death throes of premise world. But until that happens, we have to work together.
Come on, Gabriel and Megan, they won't eat. This is oh, sorry. So my name is Carmona. I'm a poet and filmmaker. I'm an OG. You're right. You're right. The way that you life that, so I do. I've walked out of plenty of people, make my people, and that's offensive. So I can either be part of people that complain about it, and one of the things they tell you in independent film, anytime, but I need your knowledge, I need your contact. And a lot of the things that are, a lot of it was first because we have no voice. But 3 times more but yet anything they put in front of that screen is white. A lot of times they've asked people, like we teach them, the people won't understand. They find it. But what I find offensive is that are close to. Now I believe that if you use it, have a responsibility to express how we all live without marginalizing people, but act and connecting with others, learning, nurturing. So, with that being said, please get with me after this. And
people like, I want to sit down. People like, they want to eat. But we said last words. Gucci, what was the last word?
Yeah. Hand it to a woman if you're done. Okay. I just want to say thank you, Tony and Lupe, Liana, Bryan, Laura. I see all these wonderful people. I teach Mexican American Studies. I'm a former school board member. I'm part of different organizations that community centers down in Houston. But I had a really great moment last week in class, in Southeastern High School. And we're in my Mexican American Studies class, and I have a lot of children that are Central American, and a lot of them that are here for the first time in their life. And one of the books that, because I have a combination of kids that read only English, some that only Spanish, so I have to find the two. It's very hard to find the two. But I found Gloria Saldua's book, Borderlands, in Spanish. But I found it, I had to bring it from Spain. I had to go all the way to Spain. The postage came from Spain because somebody who was Tejana, who contributed to our people, wasn't published in Spanish in the United States. But as we were reading How to Tame a Wild Tongue, one of the most important questions as educator was posed to me by one of the kids, and it was a one-word question. We read that. One of the young ladies in my class, even the girl, she said, "Why? Why? Don't we believe this? Learn this? Why?" And I think of people like Grant Patrick that are trying to make that question. So it's up to us. I really enjoyed what you said about being the dream, because it's incredible, because I see my kids, my students, and I see. And I just want to thank you, for all of you, for being people that cared about my students, my children, my comunidad, and really what we're doing at the planet. What we're doing today is the mark for tomorrow. Thank you.
I like telling them that the woman's got to give us the last word.
Gloria!
I want to say something as maybe the only or one of the few white people here, because I think it is up to people like me who despise racism. I grew up in the 60s. I grew up in the civil rights movement. My first teaching job, my principal was in the friggin' Ku Klux Klan. They had Klan rallies on our school playground. The librarian reported me to the principal for checking out a book of Dr. King on his birthday. And I got called into the office. He says, "You can't do this. You're upsetting some white parents." And the district was changing from white to black at that time. I said, "Well, okay." And he went on and on. I don't know what he said. He said, "I hope you've learned your lesson." I said, "Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Malcolm X's birthday." Now, I think it's a responsibility of not only people that are catching hell from idiots like Dan Patrick and Donald Trump, but I think it's important for white people also. Yeah. To get involved and stand up and say what's right. You know, that's important. We're all in this together. And I've got two kids, Lucha and Joaquina, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let anybody run over them, or my granddaughter, or my great-grandsons. So I just wanted to say.
Please have some kids. We're going to hang out for a while. There's some food. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. That's right. Oh my gosh. That's a
We're done. You want to keep it
today. Go talk to folks. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao. It's up to you. If you want to interview folks. Vámonos, don vámonos at all. See, we don't stop.